Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. So, I want to make sure that our show becomes a lot more smoother and easier. We know that I've had a lot of external saboteur and provocateur. Ashley will be getting a federal warrant for her arrest for IT tampering and hacking. And the reason why I'm going into it, this angle, is because earlier tonight I had to address a girl named Nosy Ho's Live, Carol, Marley, all her aliases, who's kept up her antics and being a bully on the internet. And I'm quite a bit fed up because it's the same woman who has doxed people, terrorized people on the internet, and tried to act like she's innocent. She's no more innocent than anybody else. I want to make sure you guys understand that you have to be motivated on a substantial basis, especially when your circumstances are not that great. Okay? And here's the reason why I like to be quite a bit on point in these teachings and coachings because we're never going to have a perfect day, perfect performance, or, perfect everything. That's kind of the reason why I kind of adore the live shows outside of the three shows. And the reason why is that, yes, I'm looking for something. I want to show you the reason why. And it's important that we always keep true to every little thing, even to ourselves. And even when our circumstances are bad, our situation is bad, or something is created and causing a level of toxicity, and that be it a relationship, a marriage, or anything that has either fallen apart for a reason or fallen apart for something better to come along. And I thought about this here. You know, we sometimes have things that help us when we get cold. And I want to give you guys this analogy. When we get cold, sometimes we have to wear something to make us warm and warm ourselves up. So, in that, when you warm yourself up when you're out in the cold, you eventually become immune to the cold and the chill factor, right? So, in all of that, I want you guys to understand the chill factor and being able to chill out sometimes, even when you're going through something, or people who are creating saboteur and provocateur. So today I was on my clubhouse. I was doing my normal stuff, that how I always do it. And I told you guys that I like to make sure that I'm always on point. I like to make sure that I'm professional. So I did a clubhouse about corporate abuse and misconduct because I went through it because of ClickBank and another corporation that was playing with my account and unlawfully canceling the account. So I had to practice the art of chill factor when I was dealing with substantial situations that were creating an issue and problem repeatedly. Because the agent that kept doing it at CH Block will be fired and terminated because they were asked not to tamper with the account and cancel the account, and they kept doing it. So I got fed up with it. So I outlined this for 48 hours, a situation. And the reason why I want to make sure I went into it this way is that I had did the last live about Nosy Host Live because she's part of the reason why I had a lot of issues and problems last year. She also doxed a lot of people. And one of the biggest problems I had with YouTube was another YouTuber who kept up her provoking, her bullying, and doxing and terrorizing. Her husband was doing it, and her stupid son. Okay, we all know how that is. All right.
Ow!
So we all know when we go through things that it's not the best circumstances, and it makes us feel like we got a banana in the tailpipe. It makes us feel some sort of way because literally it alters our life. It makes us feel a certain way, and it makes us upset. And in all of that, I had to get to a place of finishing that.
Finish him!
So when I did, I let that go. But that main person who had got underneath my skin did a lot of passive aggressive nastiness, doxed me, had her minions on her account, was Nosy Host Live. And this is the same one that was on Twitter, the This was the same one that was on Clubhouse, same one that was peddling a lot of lies mixed with truth. So in chapter 5, this is for dealing with circumstances and substantial situations that demotivate you and the people who create cause these issues. And Ashley, her homegirl, has been doing IT tampering, hacking. Ashley, Ashley will be fired. That's the same Ashley from AT&T. So I figured out who did it and it was confirmed. So not only will Ashley be getting a criminal warrant, a civil warrant, and a liability lawsuit, Nosy Ho's her girlfriend, who put her up to keep this nastiest up, will be getting a warrant for invasion of privacy and terrorism and false doxing. Nicole Martinez, who was on Nosy Ho's Live, talks my account, and she had no business doing it. And I cussed her plain out, and Nosy Ho's as well. And then the avatar that was doing all this nastiness and bullying and terrorism. Okay? So let's get one thing clear. When you decide to become a more self-disciplined person, it's easy to find the motivation. So I want you to understand this. Here's the reason why. But let me start with formalities, okay? We all know I have bird brain eyes sometimes. I eat the chickens with the head cut off, but I'm chicken head moment. We know I ain't no chicken head, okay? Look. But being that I'm not a chicken head, and I like to not be a bacon head either, I learned how to deal with toxic people, passive aggressive, narcissistic people. I have dealt with so many toxic people that it's easy for me to see a narc a mile away, and my narcometer really goes off a lot, right? So my narcometer was going on 10, right? And in that, I've dealt with so much of the toxicity, the bot farms, the troll farms, all of the things that were on multiple social medias. And, I thought about this in corporate, right? I worked in corporate for a very long time in business before I decided I don't want to work for anybody. I hate the shit. So that doesn't mean business is for everybody. Because when I went into business, I've kind of cried a little bit. Okay? It's been like a little bit of a,
Ow!
but it's been like every time because I had circumstantial situations and substantial situations on a regular basis that threw my life off and off the given beaten path that I know I'm destined for, which is life coaching, wellness coaching, and being a leader, a manager, and doing business. That's just what I do. Okay? Ain't no life matter though. So we all know that I had to laugh to keep from crying because there's many days where I felt like crying. I was so darn angry and pissed off. And I felt like I told you guys the other day, like Steve Urkel, except I never got to step on or Cal. I'm not a man though. I checked when I was little. Okay. So me being a cisgender female, meaning born female, I identify as female. And females naturally are emotional. But I don't know what ear-afflicted DNA compromise I had in utero. I'm a little afflicted. I literally came out as a girl, but sometimes I think like a boy. So I remember the Steve Harvey book, Act Like a Man and Think Like a Lady. Or no, was it Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man? Oops. Awkward. That's the whole point of a live show. We have our moments and we go on. The show must go on. All right? So with that, I learned about circumstances that are out of control and out of our locus of control. So my life's been like that for a good 10 years. Okay. It has been to the point that I had to scream. And literally, I screamed more than I wanted to do. I felt like I got slapped around a couple good times.
Ow!
So we know how I feel about all this, right? But I learned, and this is in module 5, make sure you're motivated on a substantial basis, right? So I wanted to get that clear before we get into the nitty gritty, okay? So I am your Don Diva life coach for today. Don Diva coaching life coach. I want you to understand that I am also the life coach of IMCC coaching. And the reason why I separated the two is because I am illuminated. I am illuminated and I have an abundance mindset, advanced mindset, and a unified mindset. Okay. In all of this, when I got slapped around so many times, and after screaming so many times and pulling my hair out, I literally had gotten to the place where I said, Cece, make sure you're motivated, even when you're not motivated to do this BS. Not that this is BS or anything. Had to make sure I cleared that up. But the life that I'm living, right? And trying to move forward and onward and upward. So I don't have to repeat things or reiterate how, who, what, when, where, and happened. Okay. So we all know I've been through domestic violence, sexual battery, sodomy, forced sex, and rape. We all know that I have a horrible set of people who have crossed the line, damaged my life, and it's a level of it's not forgiving them, it's me forgiving myself. Okay. So in all of that, I had to get to a place of forgiveness for myself. And I had to make sure I was motivated on a substantial basis, even though I was feeling quite a bit downtrodden, upset, feeling some taste. When I laughed, I keep crying, and I had the demented laugh, and I sat there and I was like, like that. And it's like, to keep from crying, there's many times where I sat down and I said to myself, order your steps, guide your tongue, and figure out where you're going, girl. So I did. So in illuminating my life and learning how to deal with hardships in my walks along life and in my journey and taking these small baby steps, I had to learn that it was important to think about the substantial motivation that I needed to have, even through hardship and when my life was being destroyed left and right. I had to start thinking for the positivity and all of that. What is the lesson? I had to say to myself, there are circumstantial things that are affecting my life and creating all this trauma, upset, and upset response. How do I improve my argument? How do I improve my argument to the point that I don't have these problems and issues? And that substantially I could continue to be better than ever with the power to do more. So I went along the ways every day, rebuilding, garnering resources, doing everything I could to work smarter, not harder. Okay? So I went the KISS method, okay? Yes, I did. But in this, I want to make sure everybody's motivated in moving forward through your hardships so you don't have to do what I did, where it's like, beep, 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 you got me messed up. Or, girl, you crossed the line and you got me messed up, and getting somebody a piece of your mind, okay? Because we all know I'm good for it. So we all know that I can be like Yosemite Sam sometimes. My daughter, and this is where we get into the nitty gritty of this presentation. So I am Cece, your life coach and your host today. Okay. And I'm Don Diva Coaching Manager today to do coaching and presentation today. So we all know that it's been hard to manage hardships while in business and the kerfluffles through business and the falling down the stairs through business. Okay. Ow, I'm okay. Woo. So over the last couple of days and couple of weeks, I've been MIA to take care of my health emotionally, mentally, and to relax and take time off. In that, y'all know I've been hiding in the bushes. Not like a bush hog. I figured I'd do that for one good time's sake because I don't speak pig Latin. So in that, I have nothing against pigs because I used to love Piglet on Winnie the Pooh. Okay, so that's why I did it. And I remember Winnie the Pooh, Piglet, and Eeyore. And Eeyore would be, oh, father, oh, well, oh, pooh, you know. And then Piglet, oh, stuttering Piglet, blah, 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 you know. So I think about how many times I stuttered over my words, how angry I was, and how I had to improve my argument. Took a long time. Felt like I crashed and burned plenty of times. In my efforts to do this. But in all of that, I started seeing myself coast on a plane of success, success formula, success ritual. Okay? So we all know that I had a crash and burn landing plenty of times, and they had to bring out the fire alarms plenty of times before I set the YouTube streets on fire. So in all of that, I realized that I had to get to a place that I envisioned the beach. And it's just like when you're out on the beach, you're just relaxed, right? So I thought about those seagulls and they fly in sync. They're in order and they have an order to the way they fly. It's just like eagles. They fly in a flock, but usually they fly by themselves. So I consider myself not a seagull, but more like an eagle, right? The only time they're in pairs is when they're with their mate or when they're with their children. Okay. So when I drove past West Point one time, going home to Georgia, I remember I saw the flock of eagles, the mommy, the daddy, and the baby eagle, right? So instead of being a flock of seagulls, there are times when I had to be the eagle soaring and war eagle on people and do what I had to do to get life back in order. And just like those flock of seagulls, and just like those eagles, they're always in formation. So you never see them out of unison, out of sync, out of cadence, and out of step, right? So here's the good part about it. I want you guys to write this down. Here's the reason why it's important to write things down. So I wrote my concerns to my doctor when I went to my appointments for trauma, PTSD, and recovery and trauma services, and the Times That Me Too sexual battery, rape Times That Me Too program, and it's a specialty program I went through. Okay, so I have no shame in telling you guys about this. I never thought I had suppressed so many hardships and damage until I started acting like it. Beep, 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 you got me messed up. I'm tired of y'all going doing this. Beep, beep, beep. I said, we're not going to take it anymore. Okay? So little old me had moments of reciprocity because somebody said, you're so angry. And I was like, yeah, I am. What's it to you? But then I think to myself, I'm in business. I got to deal with the trauma, the upset, and the damage psychological that the forced sex did to me, the perverted things that my ex did to me, and the other ex did to me. Not the one I lived with, but the other one that I lived with prior to my other ex. And we broke up. Okay. So my last ex was RA. Okay. Showed me what care was and unconditional love was. And that's something I think important. So I learned what unconditional love is because I had trauma, PTSD, and I was living with him. That was my biggest mistake because I literally was traumatized, not sleeping, tossing and turning. And for the longest time, I didn't want to admit that I was breaking down. I was upset. I was angry. We're not going to take it anymore. It's a mutiny, you know? So at that moment, my life exploded. And it was the hardest thing to deal with because I had to say goodbye to old me, the one that was reactive, angry, upset because things happened and I never got justice. I held on to that and I still was a life coach certified. And I was like, yeah, I got this life coaching shit down. Yeah, okay, great. Yeah. All right. So we all know that I went through life coaching and was getting my certification through ICF, but I was already certified in 2016. So I went through so much stuff that created and caused kerfluffles from 2016 all the way to 2021. Okay. We're just finally getting off this dumpster fire shit show. Okay. And I literally had to think to myself, make sure you're motivated on a substantial basis. Here's why. When we think about all of these different things, and IMCC, your life coach, self discipline, make sure you're motivated on a substantial basis. Let's get one thing clear yet again. When you have hardship and you decide to become more self disciplined as a person, it's very easy to find motivation and things like that. It's very easy to become bulletproof motivated. And that's what we're going to talk about after we get through these first sets of modules. Next week will be bulletproof motivation. It benefits, all the benefits of self discipline help us become very clear in what we do and at that point in time. And this is why I told you guys this story. Because I've dealt with multiple people who are saboteur, provocateur, provokers, gaslighters, bullies, and have done the most. Okay. Then I had to deal with so much domestic terroristic antics, provoke and gaslight on and offline that anybody would be angry and upset. But the difference is being self disciplined and mastering self discipline and mindfulness and being present is what helped me ET phone home. Okay. So the little bell came off in my head. So I'm like, aha, I'm not going to fall for the banana in the tailpipe. What I'm going to do is brighten up my life and move forward. So I decided to start over no matter how embarrassed I was. And then I decided that it's more important for me to be more self disciplined, mindful, and master this while people were continuing to torment and test my temperament. Now everybody knows you can't play with her. She's not a pushover. It looks like we cracked and fell in it because she will come with a vengeance and you'll have to jump in bushes and hide. She's not a bully, but she doesn't like being bullied because I'm good at being the broad street, straight in your behind, and you got me messed up. We all know this. But everybody knows that I'm the sweetest, harmless person in the world. You have to really pluck my nerves for me to act a darn plum purity fool. You have to have provoked me to a level of nuclear upset. And then when I come bring the pain
Ow!
and let you know that you tried me one too many times, and then I have to straighten you one too many times and tell you. I'm sick of being nice about this. Now you guys know
Ow!
why I have to do that to people. Because a lot of people take kindness for weakness. And when you're motivated, you have to learn how to navigate hardship on top of that. So in module 5, I want you to understand how important it is to be self-disciplined. Its benefits are clear once you get to that level in life where you're trying to start over or build past the hardships and things like that, or the bricks that are thrown at you on a regular basis. You take that pyramid and you sit there and build the foundation of the bricks and the rocks that are thrown at you every single time. So as the days go by, you start looking at how difficult it is. You start realizing that it's harder than you originally thought. So we come to the point where I realize that this life coaching crap, I gotta apply it. It really works. It really works, Mikey. So in my paradigms of coaching, then I had 6 months of this, and then they messed up my coaching certification at ICF because of this company, Stacey Morgenstern, Carrie Peterson, D-list actor Carrie Peterson, and Stacey Morgenstern played with me on Facebook, and they did a lot of damage and whatnot. But I'm not worried about it because I already had my ISO 9000 certification, which is higher than ICF. So that means that I'm highly qualified. Plus, I have my bachelor's degree in business and also human resource. I double majored. So, the academics. Okay. But I realized shortly after school, a degree don't mean sugar honey iced tea if you don't apply it. So it doesn't matter. So that's why you don't hear me toot my horn about it, because I met morons with a degree. As we all know that I stated this. I was taught with morons with a degree. And plenty of times I wanted to.
Ow!
Because I didn't want to get kicked out of school anyway. And we all know I'm like Ferris Bueller. Bueller. Me. The snakes, are you listening? Yeah. And tell me what I said, and then I'll regurgitate it all. All right, Miss Snakes. Carry on. All right. I'm thinking myself, you asshole.
Ow!
So you guys understand that I'm academically inclined. No big deal. I ain't the smartest person in the room. I ain't the dumbest one either. But we all know I can act dumb. So, and you guys know my ASPE powers activate, and sometimes people be working them and fucking my autistic last nerve. All right. So many times I had to say ASPE powers activate, right? Kind of like Wonder Twin powers activate, same thing. All right. So in all of that, I remember the difficulty and how hard it was to overcome it while I was in school, the trauma, all the upset, the humiliation. And it's harder than I originally thought. Sooner or later, we begin to resolve and start to see the flags. You find yourself slowing down, you start thinking about focusing on other things, and you become demotivated. Okay? So, in fact, the temptations start looking better and better to keep you distracted. So, it happened to me, happened to the best of them. I say the best, but so we all know I'm the resident nasty comedian on YouTube, okay? Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, all of the crap. All right. So we all know that I have my moments. And I try not to expound on those ASPE moments because it's not easy. I've dealt with toxic people who are annoying and they don't even got afflictions and being afflicted. I laugh about all my quirks. So instead of people picking at me, they have nothing else to pick at because I pick at myself and laugh. So with me being a little afflicted, you know, glitching sometimes, I literally had to learn to be better. I learned how to become more mindful, become more illuminated to my original silly self who enjoyed everything, enjoyed life. But it was difficult in dealing with hardship. So I was caught between I don't like this, I don't want to do this, and I don't want to be better. Okay? But I'm in business, so I can't help but improve. So, you guys see where it's going here, right? So I'm setting the stage for you guys to understand substantial basis here. So in the circumstances I was in and the hardship I was in, I was like, you know what? This life coaching fuckery doesn't work. Excuse the language. That's how I was really thinking. And I'm trying to make sure I don't cuss too much because you guys know that I'll be bleeping a lot of this stuff out, especially when I have to put it on LinkedIn. Okay. And I have my deal with LinkedIn to start doing presentations. So a lot of these things will be edited out before they go on LinkedIn. Okay. But our live shows are fun and we get to have fun because this is authentic. So I sat there and I was thinking on focusing on other things because it came seemed like every time I was focusing on trying to do business, build my business, some BS happened. So in all of that, I sat down and I was like, Cece, get a hold of yourself. Cece, life is not perfect. And Cece, you'll be okay. You just got to improve your argument. You got to stop being so high strung and passionate, but improve your argument if you're going to be passionate, okay? So in all this, I chuckle because, you know, this time 2 years ago, I was not the same person. This time 2 years ago, I was one angry, mad as a wet hornet, upset person. I was thinking I'm an autistic mother. I have a child who's normal. I'm a little bit quirky and a little bit different. And I used to be embarrassed because I thought people were going to make fun of me because I don't think the same, I don't talk the same, and I don't process things the same. Okay, this doesn't make me slow or stupid. I'm high functioning. So that means I'm on the higher end of the spectrum of autism. So I don't look like a regular SB. I don't look like anybody with developmental issues. And I don't look like somebody who has disabilities, which I do. Well, I'm permanently disabled. So now you guys know that I'm clinically disabled. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm no longer embarrassed about it. It took a long time to accept myself because I have quirks. And I tried so hard to blend in and be normal that it backfired. It was like shooting myself in the foot every single time. Okay? I tried to be everything everybody else wanted me to be. And I finally threw the chips down. I sat down and said to myself, gather yourself up by the bullhorns, and you're going to ride this horse and do the best you can and not fall off.
Yeehaw!
Okay? So, in all of that, I said to myself, I need to pull myself up by the britches. I need to stop letting my life dictate who I am and let other people dictate how I'm supposed to be, right? So I went in a level of my filing cabinet of different things I want to change about myself. Okay. So in going in my filing cabinet, I started writing things down. And in fact, the temptations start looking better and better. And when you can take things easy or do things the easy way, better yet, you can choose to take the day off or just slack off. So would do that sometimes. But then I would get upset because I'm a classic workaholic. I like working. And it took my daughter to say, I'll sit on you if you don't stop going so much. You're like Granny. All you do is work. All you do is get things done. Y'all never take care of yourself. And my daughter's the one who said, Mommy, I'll sit on you if you don't take a rest and you don't sit down somewhere. I'll sit on you. So we all know my baby has grown from this little tiny tot to a miniature grown woman. Okay. We all know that we love Jazzy. Okay. So everybody has grown with Jazzy and the little stories about my Jazzy brats. Okay. So my little alley cat, Jazzy Bratz, is spoiled rotten, and Jazzy Bratz gets what she wants. Okay? And me being the autistic mother I am, I love to try to understand her because people didn't understand me. People were determined to not understand me, determined to make me what they wanted me to be instead of me being my fantastic, happy person, happy go lucky person, or decent person, or a professional person. Because I don't know what it is about me that makes people come after me, but I didn't do anything to you, but you can bite me. So, in that, I said to myself, I deserve better. And that temptation to just throw in the towel and start looking at other things, the temptation got better and better over time. And when you take things easy, better yet, you choose to take the day off, or you just slack off, or you get depressed in situation, circumstantial or substantial depression or anxiety because your life just ain't going anywhere. It's just getting you in the bills. So I'm already nuclear pissed off because my coaching business was getting damaged. I already went through all the BS with my coaching certification, the other one that's international. And then I'm dealing with a narcissistic jerk. So I'm at the point, ow, but I'm not Steve Urkel and I'm not stalking someone. Okay. So we're at the point of Lori Beth Denberg. Okay. The big white girl from All That, right? And remember when we would sit there and think about vital information with Lori Beth Denberg and how happy she was? I wanted to go back to being how I used to be, like Lori Beth Denberg. Except for there wasn't crap to laugh about. It is now because I survived it, but back then I was like, wow.
Ow!
So I chose to become more substantially motivated. If you find yourself in a situation, I've got some good news for you. Your problem is not your lack of clear goals for you to make it this far. Your goal has to be clear enough to push you through and be motivated. And it's worked so far in applying self-discipline. So we talked about this in module 4 about the tips and tricks. And we went through being specific as possible and a level of reforming your if-then statements if something goes wrong. So we talked about this in obstacles and hardships, okay? And then we also talked about identifying how you deal with problems and issues, right? So when we think about all of that, I had to create implementation and intentions to continue to be bulletproof motivated and self-disciplined at the same time. All right? At the same darn time. Okay? So I did. So I told you those tips and tricks, but I want to lead you into something else today. It's not lack of advanced planning. It's just that when we have ourselves in a situation and we have to find our purpose and our reason, I had lost my purpose and my reason in the saboteur and provocateur. I was one angry person, okay? So I was angry because they damaged my life, ruined my life, embarrassed me, humiliated me, stalked me, harassed me, terrorized me, and emotionally abused and tormented me on top of that. And then I already went through all this BS, okay? So at this point, I'm feeling some type of way because I said to myself, what is going on here? Am I cursed or something? So in those footsteps, I kept walking, kept trucking, kept moving forward, right? I said to myself, that if I want to do anything, I have to make sure that I have a what if or what if this happens intention in case there was something that went wrong. So I can be substantially motivated and moving forward in bulletproof motivation and self discipline. And I am eliminating abundance mindset. So we're cooking with some hot grease here. Okay. It's just the fact that you got to take into account for the things that could go wrong and unforeseen circumstances and circumstances that create substantial demotivation. Okay. So in strategic management, we were taught about SMART goals. We were talking about SWOT analysis and things like that in business. But they forgot to tell me you could apply it in your personal life too. Thanks a lot. So I've had real OJT, real life, learning the illuminated better version of myself and becoming mindful and masterful in how to build back better, just like the Build Back Better agenda. And I was thinking about all of that. And I said to myself, we all have agendas. Mine was simply to survive. Adrian! Survive. Okay. So in all of that, I sat there and said, you're going to get to survive. You're going to get to survive. You're going to get to survive. You're all going to survive. Okay. So the position that I was in wasn't something I wanted to be in. It was involuntary and I wasn't happy. And when I had to position myself in a level of illuminated, I am abundance mindset, and through this hardship and trust the process, I was like, trust what? I ain't trusting nobody. But I learned to have blind faith. That's the same as trust to a certain degree, that the process will be okay. And that I could get back to my original agenda, and that was business, business, business. Baby bonds. Because I am the baby until the baby came along. This one. MK. So when the baby came along, all of my plans went out the window. I love being a mommy though. All right. I would have been the best darn aunt because I could get. We all know that I'm the baby of the family and bossy as all get out, so that's why everybody laughs at me. And I act like my mommy, okay? Ma do. All right? So in all these unforeseen circumstances, kerfluffles, and hardships, my Ma Dukes had to step in. It takes a village to raise a child. So let's give a round of applause to my mom. My mom is my hardest teacher, but she, being my hardest teacher, taught me how to overcome hardships because my mom comes from hardship. She comes from life-damaging, soul-shattering, soul-obliterating 1960s when there was the time of segregation. And my mom is the last of that legacy of that, okay? So we all know my mommy is old as Methuselah. Sorry, Mom. But she doesn't look like it. She's just like me. I don't age. And neither does my mommy. So that's a good thing. So in all of this, let me put it to you this way. Even if you're getting really good at a level of doing things and you're revving up your engine and you're starting to think about coasting off in your life and goofing off or doing something different, but you got to rev up your engine for one reason. You've got to be bulletproof motivated. I am illuminated and have abundance mindset, even when your resources are messed with. You have to find a way to survive and even your hardships, either orchestrated or a situation that creates a kerfluffle like my situation, okay? So in all of that, I said, start your engines. I continue to become more illuminated in myself, my true I am, abundant self, my Christos. I lost that along the way because of hardships and distractions that frustrated me. So I'm like, beat me to beat, you messed up all my plans. But I stopped getting mad and I said, here's where it's not rocket science. The same applies to practicing self discipline and mastery. You have to have the power of motivation every single day. Even when you're not motivated, you're just like, you are me. So when your alarm clock goes off and that little bell rings in your head, you have to say to yourself that in this level of rawness, authenticity, that you have to push yourself to a point where your self-discipline becomes more than your motivation to be demotivated. And then your substantial motivation outweighs all the hardships. And I'll tell you guys, how do you remain motivated? Great question. According to the 1999 UCLA study published in a journal, Personality Psychology Bulletin, I want you guys to pick up some psychology today and all kind of different things about the recesses of the mind and how our minds work, because sometimes our minds get broken. So as being autistic, my mind was actually manufactured broken when I was born. So I literally have to work with all kind of different hardships and deficits naturally. Okay. So that doesn't make me dumb or stupid or slow. It just means that all those deficits people used against me, beep, 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 you got me messed up. Oh, you tried it. Allowing people to tick me off, piss me off, and I'm sensitive naturally. I finally got to that place where I'd taken it one too many times, 10 years, overlapping 12 years, 15 years of bullying, provoke, and gaslight, and it's all boiling. I'm like, it's like a chihuahua, and it's like my asthma hound. And many people have sat there and they say chihuahuas are Satan's dogs. No, they're not. Chihuahuas are sweet. You just have to teach them all the stuff they like to do, right? So, Asthma Hound has been babied since the time I got him for my daughter. Okay, this little one. All right. So, in this bulletin, it involves visualization. In other words, you need to visualize the process you build in disciplining yourself every single day. We're almost done, you guys. And in that, I had to take that same level of paradigms of coaching, and I was like, what is this coaching going to do? This doesn't work in real life. It actually does. Okay? Because my hardship was making it harder. Okay? So, in all of that, I had a process of building on the foundation of bricks that were thrown at me. I built me a pyramid: behavioral health, emotional health, mental health, wellness. Okay? So, I became more illuminated over time because I said, do I want people to see me in business acting a darn donkey? No. Who's gonna book with me acting like that? But see, in discovery, in mindfulness, and becoming more present, I realized what my exes were doing in sabotaging, terrorizing me, harassing me, catfishing me, and messing up business for me. But inadvertently, I'm going to tell you something. I thank them for all the damage because it delayed my process, because maybe God heard conversations I didn't hear. Maybe people were sitting at tables having discussions I didn't hear. So therefore, maybe God was taking away all the damages and the people who were planning to sabotage further or damage my life and my brand that I hadn't even yet got off the ground. Y'all know I was pissed off. Adrian, you get home, So, so when my life exploded, I was just like an angry mob, right? I was just like an angry mob, and I was sitting up there. I was like, boo! because I said to myself, stop being angry about what's going wrong with your life. Think about your hardships in a better manner. What's the lesson? Trust the process, CC. So I did. So when I trusted the process, I sat down and I said to myself, am I perceiving what's going on as punishment or do I find the lesson? So I decided to not see it as punishment, although it was, obviously. And we all know how I feel about that. In all of that, I had to say to myself after that study, the participants study in regards to envisioning certain outcomes compared to getting excited about the process of producing that outcome. It turns out the students that were allowing themselves to get motivated by the process of working on things instead of focusing on the outcome, they ended up creating a level and layer of feeling better about the process. So now we know that trust the process works. So it does work. Okay, good to know. So I stopped questioning the process and I said to myself, Cece, you're abundant, you're resourceful, you're illuminated, and you've been through hardships, and you've bounced back plenty of times from even worse crap. Okay? So I stopped complaining and I started writing things down. So in this, as you guys are listening to this, I'm hoping you wrote things down because as I get to the tips and tricks before we close out, it turns out students allow themselves to be excited about the process than the outcome. Because when you're so focused on the outcome, when circumstances that are otherwise unsavory substantially create or cause hardships further or cause detours, you have to learn to stop worrying about producing the outcome, but trust the process and trust the outcome is going to be just fine in blind faith. Okay? So, in all that, it turns out that students allow themselves to get motivated even in college or even in high school or even in middle school. So it starts very young to learn how to deal with hardships. My little girl is one who dealt with many hardships she shouldn't have had to deal with. So I was one wet, mad as a wet hornet mama. So Llama Llama is pissed off, and Llama Llama's mama's pissed off. So what do you think? You got baby llama and mama llama pissed off. All right? So baby llama comes to mama llama, who's mad as a wet hornet. I say, baby llama, what's wrong with you? My baby, my Jazzy brat. She says, I didn't get to have a childhood and I'm pissed off. You didn't do it, mommy. I'm just pissed off. She says, Mommy, I want brothers and sisters. You lost babies. It's not fair to you. You got mistreated and treated like a second class citizen. I'm mad because I want revenge for all the things that people did. And I found myself, a couple of days ago when baby llama called in mommy's lap and we talked. And baby llama says, Mommy, you never deserved what happened. I'm mad because I lost a lot too. Me and my homegirl went through the same thing. Her daddy knows daddy. I said, okay, cool. And we both similarly survived the same thing, both of us baby mamas. And in that, I had to learn to move past all this stuff, forgive myself for trusting so many people. And I had to forgive myself for putting faith in people who never deserved it. Here's the lesson in all that. When we stop getting a level of motivated by the outcome, the process becomes better and people tend to perform better. And compare with anybody who's been tested in life with hardships, gone through hardships like mine, people who damn near lost limbs or went to war and went through hardships, but they choose to overcome. So I want you guys to understand all of this in this life coaching with Don Diva Coaching. And you can book your appointments on dondivacoaching.com. you can come into a clubhouse and you can definitely get this live replay. I want you guys to be able to understand that the live shows will start being closed off, so I won't have catfishing and provoking and gaslighting on Clubhouse because they started doing it from platform to platform, and I'm tired of it. So people are going to have to pay to hear me speak, and it's a smart thing to do to protect myself as well as a business, and I'm not going to put up with this stuff. So that's why I ended up dealing with Nosy Hose and her antics and buffoonery, Ashley's minion. So well, it's rather Ashley's nosy host minion and does all this dirty work. But Ashley's soon going to lose her job for her antics and back channel foolishness. So we think about people who've been tested in hardship. And then we have people who are saboteur, provocateur agents. Doesn't mean federal agents are doing that. It just means people who are just nasty, hateful, god awful, and the people who are easily manipulated, like Ashley, a flying monkey or nosy host. So I have a problem with both of them. I didn't hate Ashley at first. I actually feel sorry for Ashley because nosy host is using her. And Marcella Boothby Davis had mentioned that and whatnot. And it was embarrassing. And I had secondhand embarrassment because I know what it's like for somebody to use me and didn't really like, not really be in love with me, but using me to do their dirty work and play all these games. So when we learn to be encouraged by the process and trust the process, it comes out better. When we become more mindful and we become more illuminated in who we are, we learn to deal with hardships and those who make our life living sugar, honey, iced tea, and HE double hockey sticks. Okay? So those are two different things. Okay? We focus on two different areas. Part of this is that the area of the journey. And there's a song I love by Rosie Rothschild. It's called The Journey. Okay? And I was thinking about this as I was going over my notes and the things that I want to do. And in my journey, to exonerate people, including Mr. Rothschild, from a lot of foolishness and stupid shit that went on and crossed the line, as we all know, I've cussed him clean out. He's owed an apology. I'll probably apologize to him one day. Just because I'm a decent person. And if I was wrong for cussing him out, then okay. But he's like family. Families cuss each other out, talk to each other, and, have tiffs and kerfuffles. But one thing about it, that's the only person that supported me plenty of times. While everybody was embarrassing me, humiliating me on social media. And then I found that the girl Nosy was the one who had his picture. And I cussed her clean out. Even though I was mad with him. Because she also mentioned my name on YouTube and I was ticked off. And that was Nicole Martinez who did that. So that's why I opened it about Nosy Hose Live and why I said that she's a toxic person. And she had no business doxing me or anybody else on social media. Just like the other All About the Tea, the avatar who had Roy's picture and gave it to Nosy Hose. So both of them need to be handled immediately. And YouTube needs to get on it because Mr. Rothschild has the right to sue. Because nobody has the right to steal anybody's pictures and use them and play with anybody or embarrass them or do anything that is crossing the line and creates distraction, disinformation, and a lot of arguments that could have been not happened. So that's why I went through the first audio and the first presentation. So I figured in this process and these two totally different things, we learn how to improve our argument, we become more mindful, more illuminating, and become able to trust our process, even on the foundation of bricks that are thrown at us. I had slander, libel, defamation of character, harassment. So what I did is I reversed that pyramid and I built a pyramid on the foundation of bricks that were thrown at me. So every time they threw something at me, harassed me, catfished me, terrorized me, and provoked me, I said, each time that I fail, I'm going to get up again. I'm going to take all these punches, psychological, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish this.
Finish him.
I said to myself, it's war. Get into this arena, and like Rocky Balboa, you remember when he went up the Philadelphia steps and he was up there, he was like, yeah! So I decided to do that. Okay? So I had to be substantially motivated when I felt defeated, embarrassed, hopeless, humiliated, cussed a couple people out, But I was able to exonerate people who didn't deserve their cuss outs. That's why I said I'll probably apologize until one day. I don't feel like it. Because I remember the days that he called me fam and the days that he would check on me when nobody else did. I just didn't want to tell him I was going through some serious situations. I'll let you talk in a minute, Manny. Hi there. I'll let you talk in just a minute. I'm going to mute you for a second, okay? So, in all of that, and I'll let you talk in just a second, okay? I'm almost done. In all of that, I learned how to not focus on the outcome because, and there's two scenarios. If you focus on the outcome, it's probably not going to work. If you focus on the trusting the process, it's probably going to work, okay? So, in all of that, I had to allow myself to get pumped up at the fact that I can try again every day. You don't succeed. Try again. So I chugga choo choo every day. I had to find a way to continue to break through and one small step at a time. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to admit I went through trauma PTSD. It's embarrassing for me to admit I had to go to a therapist because of all the things that happened to me: the rape, the sodomy, forced sex, taking pictures of me unauthorized, threatening to put those pictures on the internet, all those things that he did to me plenty of times. Caught me in the bathroom, was taking a shower, taking a shit, things like that. Oops, sorry. Number two, let's be more professional. So, in my professional opinion, it's not easy to tolerate all of that. And then when someone says, I do this for collateral in case any woman comes forward about the things I do. So, all of that hurt me psychologically. And all the damage I carried, and I suppressed it. I didn't cry for 8 years. I didn't speak a lot for 8 years. I sat there and didn't cope well with everything. And I thought my coping mechanism of suppressing it was going to make me be okay. I'm like, I'll forget about it. I'll deal with it later. But until I started acting the way I felt inside. Beep, 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 you got me messed up. Oh, you got me effed up. Beep, beep, beep. So, in all that writing those things down, and as I told you guys, write different things down that resonates with you. In writing all that down and learning how to not inside scream and not slap yourself around and feel bad for how you were before,
Ow!
I stopped punishing myself. I realized the circumstances I was going through were bigger than me. And the hardship I was going through was bigger than me. And in that, in my embarrassment, I think I had downward spiral somewhere in between being angry, embarrassed, humiliated, and feeling some type of way. So that's where all that came from. But there's a lady, Babette Rothschild. She is an MSW, fantastic lady. I was on YouTube, don't know her from a can of wet paint. Okay? 13 years ago, audios. Okay? So I don't know her. None of this is in her link. But she's an amazing MSW. I would have loved to have met her. And I would have loved her to be the person who ran a UK business for me. And or a American business for me as an MSW and as a master's degree therapist and things like that. She knows what she's doing because that is what made me have the keys to begin to build myself back better. If it hadn't been for seeing that audio and listening to 9 audios and another 10th audio, I was more motivated to get the help for emotional damage, PTSD, and trauma. I felt some type of way because I was like, how did she do that? She was authentic. She was authentic in her mastery and teaching you that you're in the driver's seat of your recovery and every level of this journey as I was reading in this levels of books and self-help and all these different things. And that's why I referenced the song by Rosie Rothschild, The Journey. Because in my journey, I separated from Mr. Rothschild as I had already cussed him out. I was embarrassed. I didn't want him to know I was going through all this hardship, deadly things that were going on, and damages to my life, my career, my business. And I was embarrassed to even be around him. Because I'm like, you're a Rothschild. Who am I? Then I remembered who I am. And I know my heritage. So I know who I am. I just don't toot my own horn. But I forgot along the way in my hardships who the I am. I was remembering who I was that allowed a lot of things to happen. And a lot of things people follow me here. I couldn't forgive myself for allowing myself to trust other people instead of going with my instinct, my intuition. I allowed people to come in my life not knowing their agenda. Like I said, we all have our agendas. Okay? So agendas are nothing new. Okay? I am's been around for centuries, so there's nothing bad about that. Those are the people who were light seekers and light workers who lit candles for me every step of the way and said, keep going. Don't worry about this bullshit. You'll be okay. Excuse the language. Sorry. So in this authentic presentation, I had to get past it. Because people like, why can't you get over it? Okay, have somebody destroy your life, your image, embarrass you, humiliate you, torment you, and then throw things in your face that they did to you, and then tell lies to other people, and those same people played in your face. I'll wait. So in all of that, a lot of people are not going to do what we're doing right here, which is a building session to help anybody who is feeling downtrodden, hopeless, feels like they don't have an opportunity to start over. You do. I took my golden opportunity to improve my argument. I took my golden opportunity to not allow people's opinions of me because lions don't worry about the opinions of sheep. And so I'm not sheeple. They go, ah. And I decided not to be the sacrificial lamb for my ex's BS, provoke, and gaslight, and bullying because they say, follow the light, fear not, trust the process. So I did. I had to light a candle every time somebody blew my candles out. Saboteur and provocateur. But there was light seekers and light workers who constantly improved me on social media after they realized I was telling the truth. Plenty of people like Mr. Rothschild that I cussed clean out. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry at the time. I can laugh about it now, but I was humiliated and I was embarrassed to tell him I've got a degrading, nasty, provoking, gaslighting situation. I've got an emotionally abusive situation. I've got a deadly situation that is affecting my life. Okay? So, in all of that was embarrassing to tell someone. And I didn't know him from a can of wet paint. So I'm like, who the hell are you? I Googled it. Oh, I was like, oh, okay. Nice to meet you. No big deal. I treated him like a regular person because it's not about your name. It's not about your namesake. And I was never around him because of his name. I was around him because I actually liked the jackass. He's a cool person. So many days he told me to get up, exercise. I did. So I started eating more, doing what I was supposed to do, and stopped laying there in self-pity. So that's why I wanted to bring you guys full circle. So in these steps I'm going to give you, think about your life achievements when you're going through hardship or anything that demotivates you and creates and causes a level layer of upset or beep, 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 you got me messed up. Everybody's got some sort of achievement or goal. And what's that say about you? I want to ask each one of you to tell me your goals, your I am goals, your I am somebody goals, and enter the I am hashtag giveaway. Because everybody has a sort of achievement or what they want to do. and the motivation to do it has to be there, whether you feel motivated or not. So, in that, figure out step two, what other people see you as your strengths and key capabilities. Okay. So, in that, you're going to SWOT analysis your life. So, some of school worked, it applied it in my regular life, even though they didn't tell me the BS. They didn't tell me everything I learned in books. You had to apply common sense too. It took a couple people shedding some light on me and telling me, you're going to be okay. Just trust that life will be okay. You'll be fine. So now I'm getting better. I don't feel like talking about all that BS, okay? Yay! But step three, make no mistake. All of us can be proud of something and focused on something, and bulletproof motivation, mindfulness, and self discipline is what I focused on. And in that, in my closing statements, your achievements were not handed to you. So I've worked for where I'm at and where I want to be at. And let's get that clear, okay? We all have to work for everything we want in life, and sometimes hardships make it even harder. But our substantial motivation has to outweigh the outcome, okay? Identifying what those processes are is the step in module 5. Realize that through the process, just as you're going through a process right now, just like I'm going through a process, we're all going through a process of illuminating ourselves, building ourselves back better, having our own personal agendas to be better than what we were last year, the year before. That's why I said the New Year's resolutions, that's a bunch of crap. Because you got to apply it through the whole year. That's why I stopped doing New Year's resolutions. Okay? All right. So, in all of that, I said step 4, draw an association between the past processes I went through, get the lesson, and the one you're going through now. So I did. Part of mastery is learning the lesson and not taking everything so hard to the point that you get upset, you feel some type of way, and you literally feel like life just hit you like a ton of bricks. It feels like your life exploded on you. It feels like everything went to the crapper, okay? So, in all of that, we have to board that airplane. We have to start taking off, just like an airplane that goes down the runway. And as we're flying like those bald eagles, like I told you, the only time they're around each other is when their babies are in a nest. And my baby eagle is my little mini war eagle, and I'm mommy war eagle, just like my military sister. You see this lady right here? That's my Marine sister. That's my Army sister. And that's an amazing school that has taught me how to toughen up, taught me how to take punches, taught me how to do better, not let anybody rain on my parade. That's the person who had toughened me up growing up. But one thing about it, my sister can't be with me all through my life and teach me about hardships. That's something I had to learn on my own. Okay? So, in all of that, in closing, I want you guys to have a tremendous sense of reassurance that you can have all the book sense in the world, you can have all the degrees in the world, you can have all the certifications in the world, but if you don't apply it, then what's the point? We all have success rituals and success things that we do every day, like getting up, getting our coffee, washing our paint, and all the other kind of different things, right? And doing all the regular hygiene stuff. So it's really not much different, and it's similar in the path of trying to move on through hardships. So I stopped trying to think about it. I stayed busy. I gathered resources, and I continued to try to build back better. I had my agenda focused on being more abundant, more resourceful, improving my argument so I can phenomenally teach you guys and do these presentations professional. I'm still working on it. So now we have to do something completely different. We have to be substantially motivated in our journey and our path. And we also have to do it again and again, like we've done it before. So, all I ask each one of you is a good question. And these are the questions that will be posted in the community link, okay? What's holding you back now? And I want you to get excited about the process more than you do the outcome. And it's already delivering positive results as long as you keep repeating small habit changes and one small step and make a breakthrough and a journey of a breakthrough over and over again to get to that place that you're the better version of yourself. That's part of the outcome. That's kind of the beauty in this ow, hurtful situation and the bumps and bruises that I obtained across this journey and trying to make it to the other side. So that's it for today. I'm going to unmute everybody. Hi, Manny. You're welcome to speak. How are you? How did you like the show? Say what, sir? Okay. Well, I'm glad to hear that. I wanted to make sure I shared with everybody how to overcome things, to not be bogged down by the stupid stuff, right? Have you ever had a situation? Can you tell me anything about your hardships or anything that you went through? Okay. How did that make you feel? Raw, I'll be with you one minute, okay? I'll let you have the floor, but Manny's speaking. Go ahead. Okay. How did you start to overcome that hardship of dealing with mom's sickness and illness? Hmm. Okay. I'm not going to understand that because part of that is trying to deal with things that throw you a curveball in life. That's what we were talking about the other day. And a lot of times life will give you some things that will make you cry sometimes. So I understand where you're coming from. How have you coped with it as you've gone forward? How's mom doing anyway? I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry for your loss. How have you coped past that hardship? Have you seen a doctor? Have you seen a therapist about it? I'm listening. Hmm. Do you think any of these tips and tricks will help you to continue to kind of get past that and continue to keep your mom's memory alive, but process it? Have you thought about seeing grief counselors? Okay. And I think it would be good for you. And that's something recommended. because they specialize in trauma from losing a parent. And nobody wants to lose a parent. That's not no laughing matter. That's something that's hurtful. So I understand. What I want you to do is to keep listening. I want you to take pointers. And when you come around and you hear these Twitter spaces or you hear any of these clubhouses or anything on YouTube, I want you to pick up on these different things to help you. And I thank you so much for speaking. You too. I appreciate you for coming on, okay? And make sure you go to dondivacoaching.com or imcccoaching.com. I'm going to go ahead and mute you and I'm going to close out the show, okay? You can finish listening. Okay, everybody. I just had someone that was within our space and things like that. And it's on our Twitter spaces and a level of our clubhouse at the same time. So Manny shared with us his loss and his hardship, and he showed how he's overcome these different situations and whatnot alongside of losing mom. And I think that's amazing that people choose to thrive in spite of. This is a perfect example of thriving outside of hardship. Sometimes we're not planning for it. That was a circumstance I don't think anybody wants to see. And once that happens to someone, it turns your world upside down. And with that, having a family support, emotional support, seeing a coach as interim gap, because most coaches don't diagnose and treat unless they are a medical doctor, which is something that I'll be going through and finishing up within the next 5 years. So I'll become a licensed MD to diagnose and treat. Although I know how to do it, I'm not going to do it because it violates the oath and the practice of medicine. So as a nurse, I understand that. That's why I suggested him to see a grief counselor, someone who's certified in that area. I am a life coach, wellness coach, and a business coach. So it means I encompass all areas. So I'm able to still talk to him. So Manny, you're more than welcome to book appointments if you need any grief counseling and services. I'm doing remote appointments and you're welcome to book it and whatnot. And like I said, it's not any shameless plug. I understand what you're going through. So you're more than welcome to book with me. You can actually go to dondivacoaching.com or IMCC Coaching if you're IM, and you're more than welcome to do so. So with that, I want to make sure that we close out this on a good note. I want to share some things to help Manny become better emotionally, mentally, and continue to strive to do better and be a better individual every day, all day as a husband and as a father or anything that he's got going on in his background. And I'm hoping his kids keep him lifted up. And the reason why I want you guys to understand why it's important to have affirmations is that when you're dealing with certain things and you don't feel motivated, and especially losing a parent, it'll deflate anybody. It's not easy. I'm not going to tell you I know what that's like outside of adoption and my parents and whatnot. So I can tell you from being an adopted person that it's not been easy because I never got a chance to spend time with my father or dance with my father. So it's a different type of grief. I never got a chance to hug my mother and tell her I love her. I never got a chance to tell my father I love you. So in that, it's not been easy. That's a different type of grief. That's why I suggested grief counseling, because it took me going to counseling. It took me going through understanding that I will always love my dad. I will always be daddy's little princess. I will always be daddy's little girl, just like my sister is daddy's little girl. But the thing is, it's two types of trauma. One is losing someone and it's sudden and unexpected. And the other is unforeseen circumstances that caused me to lose my mother, caused me to lose my father. And as far as I know, they're still living. So in that, I had to learn that grief is not easy. So I wanted to share this so that Manny can enjoy life and know how to process grief. See a grief counselor, see a life coach for interim gap. Continue to build on a foundation of things, life's bricks that were thrown at you, especially that curveball losing mom. So I wanted to let you know that my heart goes out to you, heart to Manny, and everybody please make sure that you lift him up in prayer and light a candle for him so that he can feel good every day. And as he said, I struggle every day. And that's okay. The strongest thing you can do is say, I'm not okay sometimes. And the strongest thing you can do is seek therapy. And the hardest thing for me to accept is that I need therapy from all the trauma that I've been through, inadvertent circumstances that brought hardships to my life. And in that, I may never get to meet my father. I may never get a chance to talk to him. I don't really care at this point because I'm grown and that attachment wasn't developed. But I care because that's daddy. I would have brought him a cup of lemonade. I would have sat back with him, kicked it with him. I would have laughed, rubbed his head. I would have kissed him on his forehead. And I would have been spoiled rotten daddy's little girl. I know that. Because I act just like him. Okay. My daddy's very smart. And I truly think that he's my hero. And he really was. Literally, he saved my life. And my mommy, inadvertently, I'm pissed off with her too. So I'm still mommy's little girl too. I'm spoiled rotten. But the hardships I've been through are totally different from Manny's hardships. But the reason why I wanted to make sure that we had duality here is we don't know what people are going through. We don't know the losses that someone suffered. We don't know the losses people go through. Divorces create grief. Hardships create grief. Unforeseen circumstances create grief. But we need to be substantially motivated. So let me give you guys some motivation before we get out of here. We've been on for an hour, 31 minutes. So I'm going to pull up some things that I felt were important for people to learn, to live by. And these are things that kept me I am motivated when I felt like quitting, when I felt like my hardship was embarrassing me to the point that I couldn't keep going. There were days where I just wanted to scream and I wanted to crawl the walls and I wanted to pull my hair out. And I was like, nobody's going to accept me. Nobody's going to like me. Now I just don't even give a damn. And that makes most of us who've gone through hardships a very powerful person. It doesn't mean I want power or authority. It means that I'm very humble, but it means the power to do more and be resourceful, mindful, ordering my steps, guiding my tongue, building on the foundation of bricks that were thrown at me, and becoming okay. And saying to myself, I am graceful. I am a good coach. I am a good mother. I am a good daughter. I am a good granddaughter. I am an exceptional, phenomenal coach. I am somebody. In all of that, in these affirmations, and I just want you guys to listen to a couple more, and then we're done. These are things that help me to pick myself up. And I want you guys to stay illuminated even when somebody's blowing your candles out, making you look dumb or feel dumb, okay? Because none of us are dumb. None of us are stupid. We just feel that way. Just a moment. We all know I got a janky phone. And I keep these by my side because the reason when I lose sight of things and I want to feel like, beep, 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 you got me messed up. Oh, you got me messed up. You got me messed up. You got me messed up. I said to myself, whoa there, hold your horses. Become mindful, be present. Mentally challenge yourself every day, even as an Asperger's, autistic, high functioning autistic, tested gifted child. I told you my daddy's not stupid. My mommy's not stupid. They're very smart, and that's where I get it from. So I have to be humble enough to give it to them that they created a very exceptional child. So say to yourself, I am awesome. Awesome. I am phenomenal. I am graceful. I am becoming. I am forgiving myself. I am motivated. I am going through a hardship, but I'm becoming better than ever. I am Black history. If you're Black, I am white history. If you're white, if you're mixed white and Black, then you got both. Best of both worlds. So it's not a race thing here. In all of that, I want you guys to understand where we stand with all this and these affirmations. If you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will. If you don't believe in your I am abundance mindset, your illuminated mindset, you'll never get anywhere in life. You have to remember there's light takers and light workers all over the world. If it wasn't for people getting on social media and supporting me mentally, I would have broke down a long time ago. In my journey, I learned how to do better and improve myself and not be as angry. I had to turn around and say, I gotta be doing something right for everybody coming after me. And in that, there I found it. Something that I keep in my phone all the time. And it helps me. Yeah, I got it. Right. I found it. Y'all know I got everything. I'm so over and organized and I'm so anal. It's ridiculous. So pardon me. There we go. There was like 1,001 folders. Yeah, we have to laugh to people crying sometimes. There. That'll pull it up. And y'all know I have a janky cell phone, so it'd be doing too much. All right, got it. All right. There we go. I am worthy. I am mindful. I am masterful. I am illuminated. I am abundant. I am advanced. I am healing. That's it. That's it for today. You all have a good night. I hope you guys enjoy the show. And I hope you guys feel every bit of motivated. And I'm hoping Manny enjoyed himself. And in those affirmations for Manny, I want to make sure that he's self disciplined every day, mindful every day, moving forward, moving past everything, the loss of his mother, and any other losses that he may have in life, that he begins to build himself up more every day. I hope he seeks grief counseling, loves himself, and it's a deep, heartfelt, I'm sorry for your loss. You all take care and stay abundant, mindful, even through hardship and self discipline. That is module 5. We're going to go into module 6 tomorrow, and I'm done talking. That's on turning self discipline into a habit. So now we understand one small step, habit change, and breakthrough. You all book appointments at dondivacoaching.com, imcccoaching.com, and imcc.com for specialty appointments. So that anybody that's going through trauma, PTSD, will go to imcc.com. That's where the specialty appointments are at outside of IMCC coaching. So I want to separate those things so that people can understand that when I'm laser focused on you having breakthroughs. And then when you see your psychiatrist, psychologist, until I become a medical doctor, which is what I'm going to be trying to achieve. I will be done in 5 years, and I'll be a licensed MD, psychiatrist, psychologist, and a forensic psychiatrist. So you guys wish me luck. I am the most quirky, Asperger's, autistic person, but I'm a damn good mother and a good coach. So I hope you see that. You guys take care. I'll see you later. I'll take you out with some music.